Happy Wednesday. Tuning in a little early again this morning. We're about to rush off, get to the gym. 2 clients back to back this morning, and then I got some catch ups with some friends this afternoon in between some client work. And it was just making me think of these ebbs and flows of busy days and busy seasons, and still managing to find time to create or to continue to create content within all of it. And I think it's very easy for the marketing side of everything to be such a job that when it does get busy, it's easy for it to shuffle down on the list. And I think the ongoing nature of the world that we live in and people's attention span, like being able to have that pulse of a signal that's being sent out, that is correct, that it is thought through enough, but that I also understand that in order to become an amazing content person, like that requires research, requires studying, it requires practice. I think a lot of people get frustrated when they try to go and translate things online and then they don't understand why it's not converting into the thing that they've already been building and they already do well at. And I think sometimes that disconnect can also be quite tough sometimes, because you're sitting there going, okay, well, I'm starting to tell people and no one's interested, and then it becomes this slog of this thing that you have to do, and then you don't enjoy it, and then it seeps into other stuff, and then it's like you're not actually projecting the right image of what it is that you do enjoy. Yeah, just keeps me thinking. So when I built these sidekicks, I really wanted to focus on copy only, because as much as I love these tools to be able to do design and everything, design is very subjective, and the amount of credits that these things use to create the design stuff and the amount of prompt engineering that you have to be able to do in order to get exactly what you want to be spat out by the AI takes almost more time sometimes than just throwing some text on top of a B-roll and getting it up and out. And I think that was my biggest goal with these, was how do I minimize the time between idea and execution, and making sure that, especially for the solo creative or the solo entrepreneur that's not looking to build a massive team, potentially, just have an assistant and you to help with some of the admin stuff. Like, how do you then find that rhythm and find those things that you can train, that you can also then get assistance with? That's why I like that these bots have their own dashboard. Technically, down the line, you could have an assistant or a virtual assistant also plug into them. And once you've done your speaking and you've done your insights and you've done your perspectives, because again, personal brands, I find it amazing how some of these personal brands they're building online and then they don't want to be part of the equation. And it's like no agency, no AI model, no one outside of you can pull your perspectives, like I was saying yesterday, and what you're seeing into fruition. So being connected, and also I think that's still one of the biggest skills, like going through your story, reminding yourself why, you know, taking that initiative to say your opinions or say your values or speak your philosophy. It's just very difficult sometimes when you've not been in the practice of writing for so long to suddenly whip up something that sounds really eloquent, and it's tough. I have this very interesting fine line with AI, but again, I think it's nuance, it's discernment, it's also your own ability to just ask for help sometimes. Like I understand where I see some of these creators online. It's like, oh, don't write with AI, and it's like I understand that to an extent, but I have found so much creative freedom in being able to use these tools to support my writing and to bring my stories out of me and to spin it into something that sounds more epic than I could have, spent 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days trying to pull together a little essay or a newsletter. And I think when I started using my mentors bots at the beginning of the year and gave myself that challenge of doing daily emails, it was that to get out of my head and to remind myself what's possible in terms of output. And that if you set a goal and you make a decision and you start moving in that direction, it's not as difficult to get the train moving. Then it's a case of making sure that you still have your touch points with your audience, you know, as you go through everything. I like that it brings it closer to home. I like that it allows you to make content on the fly. I like that it allows me to have my day and then still spit out an email in the evening because I've taken the points and I've been able to be observant in my day, and I don't have to, again, sit there and write it all in, paragraph format. I get to brain dump my notes. I get to articulate the little like insights that I'm seeing, and then I get to throw it into these things and get that feedback and get that almost that like little camaraderie and that creative brainstorming where it's like, where do you see the threads? What do you think is the most important from this? Does this tie back into anything that I've said last week? Does this, and by going through that process of creating content, that's usually when you tend to find your sawdust products that you can start to sell as little digital assets. I definitely think there's an underappreciation for the output of content over a long period of time. I think it's easy sometimes to get to the point where you're like, oh, but if no one's looking, if no one's watching, if no one's this, it's like, just by who you become in the process of taking the time to articulate your thoughts, articulate your ideas, articulate the way that you see the world, it has such a repercussion on your speech and on your confidence and on your articulation. Man, I'm getting so pissed off with these stupid articulation training AI ads. They're doing my head in. 9 minutes articulation training. That's my secret. Now my boss is asking me to do... Please tell me somebody else is getting these as well. I can't be the only one. It must be on a Hong Kong zone or something. Maybe it's the stuff that I'm looking at. But 9 minutes a day, articulation training. I'm 43. I'm not 25 anymore. I'm genuinely intrigued to see where our generation of ads and everything starts to go. I am very grateful most days, most every day, that my awareness levels and observation levels have shifted onto a side of the marketing and everything that's going on out there, that I'm just not as affected by that anymore. But it does annoy me that that's still tactics and that's still ways that people make an income. Peddle shit, get the big numbers, build it up, you've got your money, and then do it again. And I don't know. It annoys me. It annoys me sometimes, but hey, this is the world that we live in. So yeah, technically you can make whatever you want and go and do it, as long as you've got that 8-ball shot, right? What is the problem you're solving? What is the product you've got? What is the solution? And sell it to the right people. Like, these 3 blocks don't change. How you set that up and what that looks like for you changes very drastically, especially as a personal brand, because you're able to be a lot more mobile. I think that's the nicest thing that AI has given creatives and creators the freedom to do, is become a lot more mobile. Like, you can do so much more as a one-man band to a certain point while you bring in an income before feeling like you have to outsource to a team or outsource to anything else. And that's why, again, just bringing it back to these sidekicks, the copy always seems to be the crux. Because even coming out of running the agency and being the service provider, again, it still annoys me sometimes that, a lot of these agencies don't prep their clients to build their own in-house teams, especially if they're at that level of company. Like, understand if you're still staying lean and you're using the marketing agency as your outside thing, but at the end of the day, like, nobody will do your marketing as, like, I don't know, there are amazing marketing agencies out there as well. It's just, I find it so funny how some people come into this process and they want to outsource the one thing that's going to be the voice and the front-facing stuff of everything that they do. You hear the cicadas? Cicadas or birds? I don't know if that's... I'm pretty sure those are like... I actually don't know what they are. I always thought they were cicadas. Cicadas! Have you seen that lady online? The brilliant lady that paints bugs. The autistic lady. She's amazing. She's so funny. She makes me laugh all the time. She paints bugs for her full-time job. I love it. I love her. So funny. So funny. And I think just a last note on that, this is going to be a short one this morning, is just so long I kept this weird importance thing on the stuff that I was doing, and it sucked the fun out of it all the time. And I definitely feel like there is such a key in doing what we're doing with joy and with love. And when we go into it feeling like everything has to be a push and everything has to be a force and everything has to be a struggle. I just feel like that's when it becomes a very quick, like, uphill battle all the time, and it's very tough to get out of those cycles. So finding ways that you can keep it light, keep it fun. And again, this is what I love about these bots and what I love about AI is that you get to turn things around and you get to test and you get to iterate. So you get to have an idea in the morning, whip it up as soon as you're out of the shower, have it launched on your stories before the afternoon to see if anybody's interested in, and you could have sales by the afternoon or you could have crickets, but then you can go again the next day. Or you can then take that idea and tack on something else or allow it to develop and rerun it and, go again. And it's like that. That is what these tools are for. So if you are interested, we are still running the Sidekick Challenge at the moment. Doors are closed on that, but if you would like to become one of the founding members, we still have some slots. There are links in wherever the links go. They're still in beta testing. We're still getting out the kinks, but man, I'm just excited that people are starting to find their flow and find their rhythms, because I think once you start to have the front-facing marketing as part of your rhythms, things start to shift very quickly. It also starts to shift how you're looking at your clients and what information you're collecting on a day-to-day basis, and I genuinely think that that helps build and grow, because you're putting yourself back into the driver's seat instead of just getting stuck and bogged down in all just the doings of the business. You're also able to then take a step back and say, all right, well, how exciting can I make this for people wanting to come in? And usually that's when a lot of people realize that they've not made it very exciting for themselves for a long time. And I genuinely feel like content as a tool to reignite your creativity and your inspiration and your spark. It's your job to stay inspired. It's your job to stay inspired and get excited. Use these tools. You use it as a way to have a different mentality about what content is, right? It's data points, it's information, it's testing, it's seeing what the market will respond to, and to kind of be able to detach yourself from that. It definitely helps when you're able to churn things out quicker. It sucks when it takes you 5.5 hours to create one damn carousel and you post it out and it goes nothing, and then you have to do it all again the other day. It's like, no. We live in a very fast moving world, and yes, I do want people to be taking their time with their creations, and if you have a knack for it or you have an unfair advantage, like you're a filmmaker or you're an artist, use your stuff within it, but the copy on top, make sure it's talking to the right person, it's telling your story, it's bringing through your values and how you want to train your audience to interact with you. None of this pick me energy bullshit anymore. It's, this is who I am, this is who I work with, this is the cool shit that I do, come join me. You want in or not? That's it. That's all I got for this morning. I didn't really have a sip of my tea, so quick sip. Oh, that bruise is coming along nicely. It's getting juicy. All right, that's it. I'll see you guys tomorrow.